bros. Seriously.
I don't really care about intro. Not on this. Hey, Nuke, what's up?
It's Nuke.
Can you hear
We
us?
can't. I don't know.
You
We
know,
can't.
guy's got a degree in nuclear physics and he can't hear us. We can't hear him. Oh, there, turn yourself up, Nuke. I can barely hear you.
I think he wants us to use Morse code.
Yeah, he probably does.
Oh, hold on.
This is who's in charge of your nuclear reactors, ladies and gentlemen. This guy right here. This is the guy you want. This is the critical man you want.
Test. Yes.
There you go. There you are.
Awesome.
We were just talking about pissing people off on Twitter. You're good at that, and I angered a lot of people today as well by calling a chick fat.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just conversation.
I'm just putting out my preferences where it's like thick thighs do not save lives, and it's like
Jack, you're just speaking your truth.
Yes, my truth.
Your truth, and you should go. No, you're right. Her thighs were thick, and they
do not save lives.
Yeah. No, they did not save. Skinny wives save lives. Thick thighs saves no one. Right.
It destroys lives. Absolutely obliterates them from the face of the planet. Like I said, it should be a crime against humanity.
Are they just saying like you're crazy, she's hot, you don't know what you're talking about? Or did
you
no.
They're calling me gay. They're calling me the F word. They're saying I'm a twig. They say I like children. It's like, oh, okay, sure. And the brothers are all up my ass about it. Where it's like,
well, the brothers are a little thicker.
Black dudes are gonna fight you the most. So
it's like, dude, broheem, you don't even know me. You don't even know this chick. What's she gonna do? It's like, oh, my black knight in shining armor on the internet who is defending me against this Dutch boy. Marry me. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Have you looked at any of their profiles?
Some. There was one I just responded to who had an anime avatar. I'm like, I can tell from your avatar you're fat as well.
Here's what you do. Don't even respond to them. But I remember I had a tweet that blew up once, and the hate ensued. And I looked at their profiles, and I'm like, my God, what a bunch of people who are interested in children. They just look, and as long as they, what did they call it? Physiognomy, where you're looking at them and you're like, oh, geez, I wouldn't trust that person with my children or anyone for that matter. Then don't take, like I said, write it. Get as much traffic as you can off of it.
Hey, I just got retweeted by Black Jesus. He agrees with me. Thanks, Black Jesus.
Oh, that's good. Where the hell is everyone? Why am?
Oh shit, we're live. I didn't know.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah.
Oh, crap.
I said like 11:30 Eastern, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's standard rule 0. We have people roll in.
People roll in. They come by whenever they want. They leave whenever they want. I do the same thing. So what's about this whole Huberman crap?
It's drama I really don't want to talk about.
Well, then let's not.
Well, no, I'm with you there, and this would be a shorter one because we don't have to do this hour and a half shit. Because I don't know, I
love you, Cappy. I love you with all my heart. You begrudgingly old man who doesn't give a fuck about drama. I love you.
Well, yeah, but it's the problem is the drama. Even though it's dramatic, it does inform the mentality of society. Where if that's all you see on for example, the TikTok girls, all right, is that really what women think? No, it's theater, it's bullshit, it's an act, but it does,
everything you see on Instagram and TikTok is all a facade, and behind the scenes they're all miserable.
Well, I agree with, but what I'm saying is the effect of all this is that the population then watches it. For example, how bad was Jerry Springer and similar such shows? How over the decades, how did that not positively, there's no way it positively affected and influenced American society. And I don't think you could quantify it. But it's kind of the same thing here. You have to address it because this is not the number one thing. I think there's actually some important lessons to take away from it. But the pettiness of it. Some pissed off, miserable, millennial spinster girl boss bitch out of nowhere. Just that, like, what? Do you know this Huberman guy at all, Jack? Do you know him?
I've heard of him, and some of my clients used to bring him up. Like, do you know Huberman said? I'm like, look, are you competing? No. Are you? Do you have ambition to compete? Whatever. No. You need to focus on the basics. And Huberman is like, well, I read this science paper, and this science paper tells me. It's like, dude, who the hell cares? Like, Huberman is a podcast. Other people listen to because they want to feel smart. Not saying Huberman's an ass or whatever. He probably is very smart. He's very educated or whatever. But it's all what it's a lot of focusing on minor details that for a lot of people do not matter. But that's
Right at the beginning. Yeah. I've not watched it, and the GF tunes in occasionally, and she'll like grab a bit of health advice or here or there and maybe tweak it. But you are right. I would generally assume if you're fat and overweight and you're like, oh, Huberman says I should have, green tea twice a day.
It's
Like,
kind
what
of
the
like
fuck does that matter? Yeah.
Yeah, it's that, and like red light therapy. And did you know cold showers, blah, blah. It's like, dude, we are talking about people who don't even know how to count calories. Let's start fucking there. I like sodas. You know what? Switch to diet sodas. And then Huberman goes into like, well, did you know diet sodas, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it doesn't fucking matter. What I'm trying to accomplish here is get people on track. And after they're on track and they got the basics down, then they can put their whole head up their ass about like scientific papers that don't really matter in the long run, because they don't.
It's almost kind of like, well, actually, and the
Yes,
guy's right. He's right, but he's so far on the frontier of research that, like you said, the vast majority of, how should I change my grip when doing a dumbbell? It's like, dude, you're not even going to the gym at this point.
Exactly. You're not even ripping the damn thing. It's like, and then, but what way should I position my hand? How about you first learn to lift it?
Yeah.
It's like you can't even keep your back straight. Let's focus there.
I need your help on getting my delts to pop. I have tried every technique and watched every video, so but that's for
I have two things for that, because shoulders are a bitch to grow. And so your shoulder press, you do shoulder presses?
No, I do a bench press and I do like iron crosses.
Okay, well, first of all, if you're not doing shoulder presses, like, no wonder your delts are not popping.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
why are you not
like I
doing
just
shoulder
said,
press?
I think I'm going to try this. I looked up some videos. They said these exercises help with the delts. So
Yeah, why not start at the fucking bare basics? Shoulder presses. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do very important, extravagant exercises for my delts. Do you do the basic shoulder press? Well, no.
Okay, hold it. This isn't like having 2 cups of green tea a day. I watched the videos. This was anything. I saw other people doing these things in the gym. So I should just go to shoulder presses then.
Start there. At least start there.
I love how you're laughing at me and mocking me, like, oh, look at this dope over here watching videos.
We just made a whole tangent about pissing on people who go too far into details, and here you are.
This is not me going off in the wild weeds. I see everybody doing this. It's fine. I'll do my shoulder presses. Jesus Christ.
Good. And once you've got that down, because like you do the shoulder presses about like shoulder width. Yeah?
Okay.
And then a bit more a variant on that exercise that is for more intermediate lifters is where you go on a wider grip.
Okay.
Yeah, but not everybody can do that because of like the flexibility in the shoulders and blah blah blah. So first build up that normal basic shoulder press, and then go to bench press width on your shoulder press. And there have been guys who stated like, hey, as soon as I started that, you get more focus on the medial, like in the inner delt, like you want the middle head, because your shoulder exists out of 3 heads, and the middle one is it's a bit of a bitch to grow. But there have been people who have had good results with the middle delt when they've widened the grip on the shoulder press.
Okay.
So
if I go watch a YouTube video on this and it's not the exact precise one that you recommend, are you going to come back and say, oh, you dipshit, you held it the wrong way? God,
if you find a normal shoulder press video and you manage to fuck that up, by God, man, it's like I won't even talk to you anymore. Or maybe I will. I will make an hour-long rant about how much of an idiot you are.
Anyway, so Huberman, I would say, because it's niche, he does, I wouldn't say fringe, that makes it sound like it's not authentic, but he goes beyond established medicine and is like kind of on like Dennis McGon. Do you know him? PD McGon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like doing, I would say he's on the frontier and looking in health studies and all that. but it would be in the realm of like a David Goggins. They're on the frontier, but also kind of in terms of David Goggins, not controversial. Like he doesn't talk politics, he doesn't talk religion. He's not like Huaman, am I right? It's medical stuff. That's all it is. And then out of fucking nowhere, some woman with sand in her hoo-ha decides to go and do a hit piece. Like, have you read the article? Have you seen how long it is?
Do I look like I read the article?
No. Nuke, did you take a look at the article by chance?
I just heard a YouTube video about it, a quick summary of what's going on.
Yeah, it's ridiculously long. The New Yorker, which is a joke of a publication, I think it's one of those dying brands of Condé Nast, authorized. They greenlit it like, yeah, here we're going to do this. And you look at this, it's like, are you losing your fucking minds? Yep. I could see this on social media, a little tit for tat or some kind of corner of the internet, but now we have a established publication writing about it, and now it goes viral, and now we got to talk about it because I think the behavior is so atrocious.
Okay, so
yeah,
there's a couple of things you can go into this where it's like you don't hate journalists enough.
Yeah,
that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Why they go to such lengths for this, and what you can learn from Huberman. So, which one do you want to do first, Cappy?
Let's do.
And by the way, I'm focusing on how much better my delts are developed compared to yours.
Yeah, okay.
And Nuke's delts are way more developed.
Hey, Nuke, should we invite Jack to the cigar lounge? Oh, too bad you can't make it because you're across the Atlantic. That's just too bad.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Jack. Let's do.
It's just me and my delts then.
Let's do the motivation of the journalist, because that right there, both the individual and the journalism industry. Do you have a theory?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're a dying breed, and Huberman is popular. And if the women are involved, like, oh, woe is the women, of course that's going to get the clicks and the likes and the engagement. So they got Huberman on, and don't pin me on this because I haven't read this goddamn article.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, perfectly healthy male behavior, and especially a man with status who just had a couple of chicks here and there across the country, they tried to get him on that. And that's how the New Yorker tried to stay relevant. Like, look at this evil, high status male fucking multiple women. It's like, oh no.
Well, it's the fantasy, right? The fantasy that women have that, like, they take a guy that has well-established, famous, useful to society, and his pay is that he gets to have multiple women. That's just the way it works. Like, we can't, it's human biology. We can't override that. But women have this fantasy where they can have a guy like that all to themselves. So when it gets proven to them that it's not really, obviously most men are monogamous, even if they're super rich, right? Because they're afraid of these things happening to them. But there are just guys that are just like, hey, they destroy the fantasy of women, thinking that they could have these type of guys all to themselves just because they exist, right? So yeah.
Well, so is it? There's multiple motivations, I think, on the journalist. One, Jack, I think you're right. That's a dying industry. The New Yorker, I think, lost money, but it's hard to tell because it's private. People speculate that it has. Two, the journalist herself is some fucking no-name professor of creative writing, some kind of bullshit in Iowa, of all fucking places, Iowa. And I would, like you said, glom on to somebody bigger than you. Like, Huberman has a larger audience than the New Yorker ever will.
Yeah.
Like, one guy will, and I think these are like are you familiar with what's his name? He was a very punchy and he's got YouTube. Undead Chronic, is that the guy I'm thinking of?
Could be.
He's the one, I don't want to misquote him, but he was talking about how people say go woke, go broke. And he made the observation with a lot of these woke companies is that they were already broke to begin with, or at least stagnant. And so as like a last Hail Mary pass, they'll be taken over by some equity group or a hedge fund or some kind of venture/vulture capital group. and they'll say, all right, well, as a final marketing, like Playboy did this in Sports Illustrated, no one buys a shit anymore. There's no cash flow coming into this. So we're going to be edgy and we're going to put a black trans guy or a black gay guy on the cover of Playboy or Sports Illustrated. I can't remember which. It doesn't matter. But the whole point is like, look how crazy and edgy we are. And so as a last gasp of a desperate plea, they end up doing some kind of shtick like this, where we're going to attack. And otherwise, did you guys know anything about his personal life before any of this shit?
No. I mean, it's the same as Rogan. When Rogan, what was it?
The N-word.
No, not even that one. Yeah, they came with that one later. But when he had the coof.
Oh yeah.
And Rogan said, "Oh, I took some ivermectin and I just exercised, and then it was done." That the whole established media went after him because he's a conspiracy theorist and we need to ban Joe Rogan and blah 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 because he talks about horse tranquilizer or whatever. And about 2 months later, it turned out, what Rogan said turned out to be a bit true. It's all like the established media's last breath, last air of like, we want to be relevant and blah blah blah. It's like Piers Morgan, or even like there's a Dutch political party who now is like all of a sudden entwined with Candace Owens, where I'm like, dude, like just stop, just stop. You're not relevant anymore. Stop trying to be hip with the youngsters or whatever. And that's what these media companies do now.
Could it be like Chelsea Handler, like the rule Rolo has, where they all get naked in the end? Like if you're the Epiphany, post-Epiphany, you just show your tits and protest. It seems like petulant, childish behavior, not to mention a shit ton of work to put that. The article is long. I cannot emphasize how long and how much effort went into writing that article. Complete pissing away of time, but it's this. It does seem to be this. I got nothing left, so I'm going to show my tits and scream.
And that's pretty much, this is the media showing their tits.
All right. What was the other angle you had? We did the journalist angle.
So why did you hate journalists enough was one. Why they did this.
What about the alpha widow aspect? Or hell hath no fury like a woman. So Nuke, you kind of talked about this, how every girl wants to have Huberman, but they can't, or a guy like Huberman. And so if we can't have it, no one can.
They missed their chance. Because women now, they have access to these guys through proxy of like social media and stuff. And I'm going to assume that this professor that wrote the article is probably past her prime. Probably.
Yes.
She's a hot 25-year-old. I'm going to assume that. So what ends up happening is that there's two things going on. First, women are given lots of power when they turn 18 and they abuse it. As we see, they abuse it. They milk that for everything it's worth. But then when the milk runs dry, then they get to this point where like this guy who's also an intellectual is getting everything he's ever wanted, all the women he wants, all the fame, the clout, and he gets to help people. Like what he's doing is actually helping people. Maybe you're not into like optimizing your health or optimizing health stuff like that. But, I did the other day, I wanted to quit coffee and I looked at his stuff about caffeine and I quit for 30 days and I learned a lot about my brain and how coffee interacts with my brain. Great. I learned something, right? What does this professor have to teach anyone, right? How to write, creative write. You know how you creative write? You just write. You don't need a whole course. And grammar, you just learn grammar from a 5-minute YouTube video of what not to do, right? For a neuroscientist, you don't just go to neuroscience. You just don't learn about neuroscience for like 1 5-minute video. You actually have to go to college and you have to be incredibly intelligent. And also you have to be, and if you want to be a social media personality, you have to be charming, witty, you have to be professional, and you have to make connections. It's a business, right? So, and then they find out that he's having his cake and eating it too, meaning he's using his fame, clout, and maybe he just has game, maybe he's just good with the ladies and he's winning, right? Whereas women do this, having 6 dudes in a rotation is like something they can get at 18 by just opening an app. Whereas a guy has to grind for 20 years and get his ball stomped for like all his 20s and learn game and go through so much just to have more than one girl be interested in him.
Right. I only was able to get through half the article, but what was interesting is in the article, one of the many lamentations was that he stood girls up. It's like, bitch, that's what you do every fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, you stand up the vast majority of guys. He's just treating you like you girls treat. And another interesting thing you point out there, Nuke, look how long it took him to get here. The guy's 48. He's just a little bit younger than me. This guy went to medical school. He's a professor, I think part-time, or a researcher at Stanford University. The guy obviously hits the gym. Then he goes on all these shows. I mean, the guy is putting a shit ton of work. And he's not even, what gets me though, he's not even controversial. Like the product he puts out there. It's almost like you're picking on Johnny American, good old boy America here. Like of all the people to pick on, you picked on like this church-going type of.
Well, this isn't the first intellectual guy that they went after. They went after Neil deGrasse Tyson. Me Too. He got Me Too.
What, really?
Neil deGrasse Tyson got Me Too?
Yes. By a colleague of his when he was just in college studying, right? No one is safe.
Wait, so way back in the day when Neil was just an undergrad or something?
Yeah. And his master's, and there's this chick that kind of was jealous of him or worked with him or something. And then, Neil deGrasse Tyson became one of the most famous internet personalities. And he's kind of a nice guy. He's kind of annoying sometimes, but he's kind of a nice guy. He's very interesting. He's intelligent. Like his brain will be studied. The way he thinks it will be studied. But this girl, like a couple of years ago, decided, no, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with every celebrity that makes it past a certain point. Women get jealous that as men get older, and they get more attention, they get more social media clout or whatever metric you use, and they don't like it, so they have to tear these men down. But what they don't know is that they're just giving them more clout and more women delivered to them, right?
And like you brought up a good point, both of you, where it's like they pointed out the things that he does, where it's like he stood women up. He's dating multiple at a time. He's lied to them, where it's like, men, would you care to add to this your experience with women? It's like, well, it's like they're blaming him for all the shit they have done themselves.
Well, this is why I say to men, like, it doesn't matter if you're a good little beta that's monogamous his whole life, or if you're Andrew Huberman and just play the field like any sane young man would do, right? Any sane guy would play the field at least for a little bit before he settles down. And he has to, because how else would you learn about women, their psychotic, sociopathic behaviors in this dating landscape? But it's you could see the bubble some women are in, and how they really can't look at their own behavior and be like, well, I used to do it too. They just can't, because I can tell you right now, women have to stand guys up because they just have too many options. Like they just can't keep track of all the guys that are begging to spend at least 15 minutes in front of them on a date, right? They have to stand people up. But for men, when we stand people up, it's women get really, I guess I stood a girl up last night, because I just didn't want to leave my house. I was just like, I didn't stand her up.
Good. We salute you, sir. And
the thing is, like, even then I still feel kind of bad, right? Because women aren't equipped to deal with rejection like guys are. But at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, they truly believe that even though they do something, if a guy does it, it's bad. And you have to understand, as a guy, they really believe, they are fully convinced of themselves. So the way you deal with this really is you just laugh it off, and you become the villain that they complain about, because that's what they want from you. So don't let them down.
At a certain point, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
What concerns me is, nature is part of human, or jealousy is part of human nature. Fine, you're jealous. Fine, the guy led you along, or you're alpha widowed. But Huberman really wasn't all that popular until about maybe 5 years ago. I haven't tracked his professional career that much.
When he popped up on Joe Rogan, I think, or something, he got really popular.
Well, yeah, if you're on Rogan, you're on the ascent. Obviously, now he's very well known, very popular. But especially for the young guys out there, it's sad how you got to start playing a defensive game early on. Like, look at Kavanaugh. The accusation came from, what was it, high school?
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was, because what is Neil deGrasse Tyson? 60? He's older than me.
Yeah.
And so there was an accusation that came from what, the 80s?
Yep.
Then maybe even the 70s, depending on the man's age. And you look at this, because let me ask you guys, did you know if you would be popular and successful when you were a young man chasing girls in your teens and 20s?
No.
Yeah, you have no idea. You don't know if you're going to become Supreme Court nomination. You know, before my time, there wasn't the internet. Like, oh, you're going to become this internet podcasting person. You know, Huberman wasn't like, I'm going to become a world famous. He's just like, well, I like turtles, and that's biology. So I'm going to study biology. And he ends up in grad school, in medical school.
Speaking of turtles,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm kind of derailing this right
This
now.
better be
like,
good. It's pretty.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
funny
yeah,
about
yeah. It's like
turtles.
so online dating. There was this chick who had a bio. It's like, just because I like to get choked doesn't mean turtles do. Clean up your trash. I'm like, what the?
What? Well, anyway, for the point I was making is, you don't know where you're going to end up in life in terms of success. But no doubt, through trial and error in normal courtship behavior, from 13 to whatever, 30, you're going to break some hearts. You're going to upset some girl. You're going to scorn one at least. And then down the road, when you hit your 40s and your 50s, like Huberman or Kavanaugh or any one of these other guys, if you become now you got to worry about somebody coming out from your past, true or not, false or not, saying like, or even construing something that was an unfortunate incident, like I don't know, you broke up with a girl and you broke her heart because you cheated on her. All right, because let's just admit, there was a hotter girl with bigger tits. All right, I mean, we all understand that. Are we coming into the day where the journalism industry is so bad and they're so worthless and they're not going to get real jobs, that they're going to have to go and like a paparazzi? It's essentially just a paparazzi where, oh, fuck your career, fuck that. We're gonna go hunt down ex-girlfriends of your past. It's a real risk men have to think about.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, there's nothing you can do, right? I think the number one thing is to set yourself up for success for the future. Man,
With a trust. I mean, honest to God, like, you almost can't have your money anymore in your own name. You just got to have it somewhere else, because there's so many people out there who are going to use traits or victimhoods, in this particular case, sex or gender. Like, oh my God, Jack Napier, the super successful talk show guy in Sweden, or where the hell Jack lives. He makes 80 billion kroners a year. I remember I took the train down to Gurkenstein, or whatever European town he was in, and then he had sex and he didn't call me back. I'm going to say that's raisoning, and then I'm going to take him down. Like that bullshit. The Westerners, especially, particularly women, are getting so petty and so amoral that I think that is a serious issue many people are going to have to face going forward.
I mean, and most of these chicks had a guy waiting for them, or they had a guy who was willing to go to the ends of the earth for them, and they fucked it up. And then now they're angry at everybody, and now everybody needs to be miserable with them.
Yeah. Well, and then I say this, like, it's going to happen. Like, if you have any type of following or anything like that, unless you've had a wife or girlfriend for a long time, what's going to happen if you do become popular or established or whatever, metric, let's just expect it. I think at this point, just expect it and legally educate yourself. If you are becoming famous or you becoming clouded, you have, like, maybe, let's say, over $100,000 followers on YouTube. At that point, you should start educating yourself on slander, libel, all these laws. You should probably go sit down and, like, as a man, we can't change this shit. Women are so powerful in terms of the court of public opinion. They can say anything, right? To me, Andrew Huberman's dating practices are exactly what I recommend to men.
Yeah.
See multiple women. If you're not feeling it, you're allowed to flake on women. That don't tell other women about each other. But if they get a whiff that you're dating other women, don't, like, apologize either, right? All these things that we talk about, even Rollo talked about in his first book about spinning plates. This is how you spin plates. This is a normal man who gets that he has options and he's exercising them, right? And the thing is, he contributes to the world. But right now, you just expect it. Just when you get to a certain point, of fame, clout, is, you know, you have a business, or you know, you may be big in your community, you may be becoming a politician, whatever you want to do, right? Make sure that you go to a lawyer and talk to a person professionally, pay for 2 hours of their time for a consult, and say, hey, I'm becoming this and I have this. How can I protect myself? Because look at Steven Crowder, look at Andrew Huberman, look at literally every single celebrity that's beloved and has a great fan base that have rocketed to, have ascended, had a meteoric rise, and everyone loves them. There's always going to be one bitter bitch or several bitter bitches that maybe not even know him or involved with him, that are like, hey, he's getting everything he wanted. Let me shit on this guy because he's successful. People love him, and he's eating his cake, or he's
having fun. How
yeah,
dare he?
he's having cake and eating it too. So
yeah,
and there you have it.
You have to be responsible, and you have to go get educated as a guy. We cannot stop these crazy psychotic women of destroying men's reputation. And the thing is to learn how to rebuild a reputation, right? Because now, you know, Andrew Huberman has lots of money, so he's probably able to sit down with an image coach or an image consultant and like, hey, this happened. He's like, what path should I take, right? And you know, he could apologize. I mean, I don't think that's the wise, you know,
no,
like groveling and apologizing.
but I won't do it. That won't solve anything. No,
I think also what they could do is like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Ignore, you know, we'll, you know, like turn off your chats for your lives if you do lives, like just all that. And then in about a year, everyone will forget, because the internet forgets. You know, like no one will care.
The thing that I'm unfortunately coming to the conclusion of is to add to what you're saying. See, you're reacting in real time. Like as you get popular, oh, now I gotta go contact a lawyer.
Yeah.
The problem is, or the paradox is, young men today, you don't know if you're going to become popular or in a public sense, let alone financial. And it almost is to the point where you have to come up with an alias. I'm almost giving the advice, and I would recommend this to men. It would take some mental discipline. You come up with an alias. You don't use your real name when you're dating. Like you're going to college, you go by a completely different name. Your academic records are different, though it has your real name on it. And you have two lives. There's your social life, completely different name. I go by Rhinestone when I don't want people. Then there's your professional life that has all your real name, location, and all that. And there's already a benefit and an advantage to that. Like stalkers don't know where you live. They don't know your real name. They can't look you up. But in the case you do become successful, imagine this. Let's say you're Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? And he went by Bob Smith when he was in college. Well, it wouldn't work because they would visually know him unless he changed so much with age. But what I'm trying to point out is that you go by a different name with the girls that you're dating. So they say, oh, yeah, this guy did that. Really? He did? Well, what was his name? Oh, it's Bob Smith. It's like, no, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. In other words, they wouldn't know, or it would even protect you like that, where you become popular under your real name. And like, boy, that looks like that guy that screwed me over back in college.
I don't think a lot of young men have to go that far, but just keep everything. Like everything now is
digital.
Everything now is digital. Like I always want to say collectible, but like you can archive stuff, you can keep it. Just keep everything. Keep everything. Just in case. And it's hard to say because like I truly believe like a lot of people do genuinely care about each other, but you never know how or when it's going to end or whatever, or indeed which one is vindictive. Like we can all say that like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they probably loved each other in the beginning, and that came back to haunt him hard. But he kept a lot of it. He kept a lot of it, and that saved his ass.
We cannot fight this. You cannot fight that it's going to happen to you. If you decide to have a very public persona, it is what it is. This can happen anywhere, anytime. Like I said, the story that when we had Terrence pop on, there was a Master Chief. I don't know if it was off air or on air that I said this, but there is a command Master Chief, meaning he is in charge of 5,000 sailors on a ship. It takes about 30 years or 25 years to get to that rank, right? It is a very high responsibility rank. We had Mike Pence coming on board, right? They told all the nukes, you guys stay in the plant or stay in your offices and make sure that nothing goes wrong because the president's coming or the vice president's coming. We're like, all right, cool. We don't have to look all pretty and be up topside. So awesome. So we're all sitting down in the office or in the plant chilling, and CNN decides to show on board the ship, right?
Who's CNN? Oh, the news thing.
Yeah. Right. Female CNN reporter, right? And the Master Chief, which is he was a cool guy, very invested in his job. He loved what he did, and he re-upped his contract just to be a command master chief for that command, USS Truman. So before he's instructing his sailors, Truman sailors, before I just want to know, just be on your best behavior. Vice president's here and all that decorum, all that blah blah blah. And then I want you guys, when he comes on board, I want everyone to clap like you're at a strip club. He said those words. Which you're talking to a whole bunch of sailors on a ship. It's normal to talk like this is how we communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then CNN, the girl wrote an article about how he said that and ruined his image forever. He was sent away. He was no longer the command master chief. And the captain had to come on and make an announcement like, hey, it was wrong what he did. I'm like, what did he do? He just told some sailors to clap their hands for the vice president, like they're at a strip club. Like what? And it offended one CNN reporter and destroyed his career. So it's like it's gonna happen if you get to a certain rank or position in life. It's gonna happen. Best you could do is like learn how to talk to other people that has happened to, what they did. Talk to a lawyer. Talk to people, and just
And you have to learn how to talk. Unfortunately, and I don't like saying this. By the way, good to see you, Pop.
Hey, what's up, Pop?
Like, I don't like saying this, but you have to learn how to talk to
Karen's children,
to Karens, to wokies,
postmenopausal, pissed off women.
I want to say the C word. In all honesty, you have to learn how to talk to them.
Just say it.
I don't want to
not on my channel,
Chappie.
Pop. Don't say it on my channel.
Oh, you should have heard Papa Ryan's channel. F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. I love him. I love him already.
Well, I mean, they use the C word in England like it's nothing.
True, and especially in Australia as well. That's how you make friends. That's how you make friends.
I call Sterling Cooper that all the time when I picked him up. Like, hey, what's up, you quant?
That's
I understand. That's an acronym for can't understand normal thinking.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But you have to learn to talk to them because they can't have fun. They just can't have fun. They don't understand jokes. They don't understand banter. They don't understand dynamics, whatever. They look at something and it's like, that could be offensive to somebody. Therefore, I am offended too. Now I'm doing the right thing by writing this down and making a commotion on this. That's what you have to deal with in the real world. You can't even make it. I said once, and I remember this, I was working in a new department and blah, blah, blah. We were talking music. And at a certain point, I said, well, you know what? You really have to be mentally impaired if you don't like ABBA. And it was just silent. Like, no laughs or whatever. And I got looks. Like, did you make a joke about the mentally impaired? It's like, oh, shit. Like, there I went.
Well, in the Army, I got yelled at harshly by one of my sergeant majors because I had a couple young female soldiers who were going to go out on leave to Florida during spring break. And I made a comment that they were, so you're going down there because you're doing some dick shopping? And they wanted to send me to, sensitivity training. And I'm like, please send me. That would be comedy gold. I'm begging you to send me.
Having you in that classroom would have been you would have sent the instructor back in tears. There's this guy. He dressed like Waldo. It was great. He couldn't handle it. Do you guys remember? It was several years back. There was a legit NASA scientist, and they had. Huh? Yeah, the Hawaiian shirt or the pinup girl shirt. So here's this scientist. They had a satellite or a probe that they sent out, and it completed its mission. And as always, once a Voyager or whatever, one of these probes complete their mission, like, well, we still got this asset up there. What do we do with it? And they said, hey, well, there's a comet or an asteroid coming in. Let's land it on that just for shits and giggles, because that's what men do. We just fucking push the boundaries and we continue to excel. And they said, okay, well, we got to land this on there and hopefully not destroy the equipment, and maybe could send some stuff back. So this guy pilots the craft from however many parsecs away, or astronomical, it's way the fuck away. They're doing the math. He lands it on the comet or the asteroid. It's successful. It's still sending information back. They're applauding. And the worthless Quantaha, who's interviewing him, asked him about the Hawaiian shirt he had with 1950 styles pinup, which, by the way, a lesbian female friend of his got him. He's like, well, isn't that degrading towards women? And it was keep in mind, it wasn't a commotion with normal people. It was a commotion within the journalism community. And people like, oh my God, da, 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 da. I think the guy was almost broken down to tears. It's like, bitch, you worthless fucking sack of shit. You're a journalism major. You are a fucking joke. This guy, Lord knows what his master's, doctorate in physics, I don't know, something better than what we all got, except Nuke, you got something legit. And he lands a fucking probe on an asteroid. And you are bitching about the fucking pinups. And that is the level of eggshells. This is how fragile they are, that you got to walk around there. And what pisses me off is, think of all the good Huberman did. Think of what good this whatever astronaut physicist could do. And it all, or your Nuke, I forgot the rank of the guy, senior master,
command master chief,
master chief.
Yeah, highest enlisted rank for a command. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, to be a senior major. The potential of these truly successful men is just blunted because a bitch got sand in her vagina.
One phrase. 30-year career.
Yep. And so it just, you do have to play this defense, but I just wanted to point out, y'all, everyone out there, including you girls tuning in, all few of you, you wonder why the economy isn't doing as well. You're wondering why things aren't going the way you want them to. It's because you keep blunting and stopping these incredibly successful men. I mean, has Elon Musk gotten sexual harassment complaint? He must have by now. I got to imagine.
No, I don't know. And he dated Amber Heard, so something is up there. But
he dated, he didn't marry.
No, wait, what happened? There is something that happened to Musk.
No. He leased her.
Oh, that's how you do that.
He leased her womb because he wanted to have 100 babies.
He got her dressed up in some video game outfit. Can't remember.
Hell yeah.
God damn it, what is that stupid game called?
Is it a space game?
No, god damn it. Never mind. I can't remember. But look, Musk, I think there was an assistant maybe once where it's like, yeah, he slept with his girlfriend on the floor or whatever, but I think that's the worst that came out of Musk. I think. It's
a what, comma, I don't care. And one of the main reasons, people get so offended nowadays and men are, so weak when they're challenged is we took out the bullies. We need to have bullies. You need to face the bullies young and learn how to deal with this kind of pressure and bullshit. So later on in life, you're like, oh, yeah, they're bullying me, pound sand, smurf my balls, whatever.
It'd be great communally if men just told them, fuck off. I mean, literally, what's your statement? Fuck off. It's bullshit.
Fuck off.
Yeah, seriously. It just because I think at least the audience, have you guys seen the reaction to the Huberman thing or the New Yorker article? Did you see the reaction?
No, does the New Yorker still get reactions?
Well, everyone told, I mean, this is a bit of hope. I think the general audience is so sick of the damsel in distress. Everything is, I'm always assaulted. The entire Twitter feed of that article, including they tagged the authoress of the article in there. They're like, fuck off. I don't know who Huberman is, but he's got a new subscriber. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I think the general community is sick of this fucking bullshit where if someone said, no, my statement is to tell that person to fuck off and die. Like, this is a petty little child and everyone should fucking ignore her. And that's seemingly what's happened. I didn't see one good thing say, oh, yeah, Dr. Huberman should really be rethinking his life and all this other shit. There wasn't a single thing. Everybody was on Huberman's side and had the Streisand effect where you're like, I'm going to subscribe to him. I don't need to learn about drinking, green tea at the right times of day and what that's going to do for my testicles. And I'm going to subscribe to his channel anyway. And I think he's got a huge boost in subscribership because of this.
What have you heard about the women getting punched in New York now?
Yeah.
Is that where they post the videos, but it's post punch, and so it's debatable whether they did and they're just doing it for attention?
I don't know. But here's the thing. You want to get rid of the cops. Let's face it, feminism for the most part is one. Men and women are equal. They're in the government and they're influencing how shit works. You defund the police. You sit there and say, hey, we don't need men. We're just fine. And then you got all these dudes laying around unemployed. Things are going to happen.
What, they just punching girls in the face in New York? What? Oh.
Yeah. And now, look, I don't condone that. But when I see it, I'm just like, hey, you get what you vote for at some point.
What? There's just randomly on a Tuesday at 1 PM, guy just goes up and punches a girl in the face, or are they starting something, or are they trying to get like? I did. All of a sudden, there's an epidemic of women getting punched in the face. If there was an epidemic of like purse snatchings, I get it. So is it started by a crime and it ends up with these girls getting punched in the face?
I think they're just unprovoked.
You'll
punching
never
in the face.
You'll never know for sure because they're never going to say, hey, I was actually being kind of a bitch to this guy and I got in his face and then he punched me or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, they do have the random throw a dude into the train tracks in the subway game. I mean, that sounds.
Oh, yeah.
I love the responses of like New York had its hero, but it never wanted it. The guy who, the
choked out
ex-Navy,
the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the ex-Navy guy who like shot or choked out the guy who was assaulting a woman, and then the ex-Navy guy got arrested.
Mhm.
And that was in New York, and now people are posting memes about him like, hey, you had your hero, but you didn't want him.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go.
go fuck yourself.
And look, they don't seem to understand is once the marriage rates go to zero and the cops shrink because of the budget and what have you, it's going to be a bloodbath, absolute bloodbath.
It's shit like this. Huberman, fine, it's a one-off, it's a very unique individual, but girls are complaining about an ex. They can't even say boyfriend, a guy they dated. This is doing nothing to motivate men. Like, this is doing nothing for male-female relations. If anything, it's kind of like, well, geez, if I get success, like what? I got to worry about another. It's very adversarial. So
women already weren't doing anything for us to date.
Right. Well, and I don't think most men are going to intervene to begin with, but this just made it a little bit worse. We're like, yeah, okay, we're not dealing with anything at all. One other thing I want to point out: have you guys heard the Facebook lawsuit? Are we dating the same guy? Have you heard?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Was it you that told me that I could sue? Someone told me I can sue now because I got slandered on that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
So, anyway, Jack, since you don't know, neither does Yazok Split. So
I know the website. Nuke told me. It's like, Nuke, make your back, man. You go, girl. I'm cheering on Nuke.
So I think it's a function. I don't think it's a website. I think it's a function on Facebook where it's groups of people in different towns, predominantly women, to say, are we dating the same guy? And so they'll post profiles of a guy that they've been dating. Surprise! All the hot girls are dating the top 5 or 6, 7 guys. So congratulations, Nuke. You do know it's quite the compliment, right, Nuke? If you're on that thing.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that is there's for both men and women. Whereas men, are we dating the same girl? They just want to know the girl's not crazy or going to waste their time, right?
Right.
The dudes on there aren't the best, most, they're not the smoothest cats, right? But they just want to know, hey, is this girl crazy? I'm going to go on a date with her or anything. Or they'll warn other men like, hey, this is my ex-wife. You guys see her on dating apps, avoid, whatever.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
I was working on a side project called don'tmarrythebitch.com. And I'm trying to find a shell company outside the country with servers so we can maintain that outside the country. So it'd be really hard for them to take it down.
Well, go on, Nuke. So you're on the thing.
And then for the girls, it's basically hey, this guy did all these things to me. Let's destroy his reputation. And all it does is just free marketing for you as a guy. But a lot of the things that they said about me weren't true. They stretched the truth. That's why I'm saying these articles that around men that are just living their life, and then some girls like, not on my watch. Decides to write a 3-page article in their cat piss smelling apartment 8 p.m. on a Friday.
They got to work on those insults, man. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the thing is, there's nothing you can do because someone's always going to have a problem with you being happy, especially now women. Because there's nothing you can do. The best you can do, like I was saying before, understand the game, learn laws about libel, slander, and be prepared to just take an L with your reputation and realize that, hey, no matter what you do, no matter how good or bad you are as a man, they don't give a fuck. They'll come after you.
That's why I go by Blake Kleiner when I date lots of women. That's why I go. Now, having said that, this same thing that happened to Nuke happened to a guy in LA where all these gals were accusing him of things. The article I read was very bad journalism. It could not be assessed. There were no screenshots, no nothing like that. But kind of the same thing. He is a doctor, I believe, in the LA area. He dated a bunch of gals. The gals all compared notes on the "Are we dating the same guy?" I think it was like 50 women were all saying like, "Oh yeah, he's this, he's that." Some people were saying that he was accused of raisoning and all this other stuff. He says, "That's it, I'm suing." So he is. I think he's suing 50 women in LA court. And again, I don't know how authentic or but if there's actual libel, and I don't think it would win in a California court, but it just shows that men are fighting back. But the interesting thing about it, Nuke, you're kind of you're a localized playboy. I mean, you know how to dance. You're highly successful. You're skilled, and so you're a sought after bachelor. This guy was a doctor.
Debatable, but
well,
yes.
I'm just saying you're not living in a tent or in Europe,
My mom's basement. Yeah.
You're
So, Nuke, what do you do for a living?
Well, hang on. Let me get the point here. What kind of effect is it going to have on highly successful men? Where Huberman's a doctor, internet celebrity and all that. Girls are complaining they can't find quality men. What do you think this is going to do to the high quality men?
Well, it's gonna do it's gonna separate the guys that. So there's a lever you have to pull when you do this. Like if you want to go out and enjoy women, or just be a badass overall. If you want to, I'm not a badass myself, but if you just want to be a type of guy that other men want to be, and other women want to fuck, like Rolo says, you're going to have to pull this lever, and that lever is you got to be like Patrice O'Neal, and you got to tell people to fuck off constantly, right? Like if I'm out at a salsa night, or I'm out with my friends, or I'm out doing something, and some girl goes to me and says, which happened to me at salsa night the other night, "Hey, you're the guy. I saw you on that page. Here's what they said about you." And then you just got to say, "Hey, so what's your plan? What are you going to do? Like what, what's your next step here? And they're going to be like, well, I'm like, okay, well, have a nice day. And then you turn your back and go talk to another woman right in front of them. You have to be unfucking apologetic, because if you're the type of guy that's just like, oh no, don't say anything, like you're going to get squashed. You have that inflection point. You have to pull that lever of being the unapologetic asshole, but very, very loud and in their face, and just show them that you just don't give a fuck. And usually they give up after that. They actually come back. They want to be part of the club too. You just got to be unapologetic.
You got to add your punctuation, Nuke. You should say it like this: "So what, comma, I don't care." There you go.
Yeah. What's your plan? What are you going to do?
Well, I have a colleague that this happened to. Ooh. And I can't say what he does, but it's very high end. Like this is one of these top tier type of guys. He's in shape, highly successful. But I cannot emphasize enough. This is a true 10. This is what all these
you only have 4 friends, so it's not so hard to figure out.
No, it's nobody we know. None of the people that hang out with us are this cool. So it's
okay.
But he is a top tier man, and he contacted me at Asshole Consulting for dating issues and because he has a very prestigious a job and reputation, doesn't live in that big of a town. Well, sure as shit, the old hags, well, maybe not so old, but the drama bitches did the Are We Dating the Same Guy? They found out they were, and they didn't go after him, but it wasn't even to the point they have to go after him, like, you know, whatever her name did writing an article on Huberman. Because of his position and because of his reputation, he had to stop dating in that town because the amount of work and effort it took to get to that level, you know, like the Master Chief, among other people that we've talked about before, there's no way. And plus, he does have a family to worry about and things like that. So now he goes 2 towns over or outside of a radius if he's going to date at all. Now, what happened to the supply of quality men that these girls so much seek after when this happens?
It drained out.
It goes down. Like, seriously, if you're do you think Huberman's ever going to start getting serious with a girl? Like, I know he was a playboy beforehand. Do you think he's going to settle down with some American woman who's got kids and drama and bullshit? Or is he going to be like, nope, he's going to even tighten up more?
It all depends on the prefrontal cortex development. He knows a lot about that. So
I don't know what his values are and things like that, but if he goes via experience, he won't. But like, depending on his convictions, he probably holds out for his great virtuous wife who will be sent by God, and you red pillars are just dating broken women, which he isn't exactly wrong because most women are broken, but that's a topic for a different day.
Are you tracking what's going on with Steven Crowder?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Him and his wife were virgins when they got married, and he's still getting the hot poker of fate rammed up his ass.
And his company, like they tried, it was like a coordinated attack on his business.
Yeah,
like,
I've got like 25 requests to do a Pimp Tart Wife Institute on the guy.
And all because she didn't want to wear the gloves. It's Paul.
Hey,
look at Paul. I love how every single military guy was late. Like, once you guys get out, are you like, fuck it, I'm gonna be late in the civilian world all the time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, in my defense, Cappy, I was on the phone with Pearl. So.
Oh, good.
Oh, there you are. I don't have a defense.
He was on the phone with somebody.
Yeah.
Doing military secret stuff, bench pressing
he was
trucks and killing.
Do you guys think? Do you think that, like, women in general are aware of the optics of all this? Do you think they're going to? I know this is a foolish question. Like, I was going to say, develop the self-awareness. Like, maybe we ought to not do this. So they're just going to keep on going.
No, they are completely unaware until they get buried by the avalanche that they themselves created.
Yeah. Doesn't hit
So
till like
are we here to talk about Andrew Huberman and how he's such a terrible man for having sex with women? Is that what we're doing?
That's really horrendous, and he should turn to the church. The church will save him.
We're gonna round up and wind down here pretty soon, Paul. But, like, you know, now that you're here at the last 43 seconds of the show, do you have any thoughts or opinions?
No, I don't have any thoughts. I just came in to hang out. I just you know, the whole thing is retarded. You know what I mean? It's just normal shit. Here's a guy doing what dudes do, and, you know, he's banging chicks and having fun and doing his thing, and who cares? Like, nobody should care, but now all of a sudden it's an issue. We're going to create a big article about it, and women go in on their hoe phase, you know what I mean? Going through, you know, and spending a year of their 20s just going through a different dude every couple of weeks, and that's being conservative for some of them. So and nobody's writing an article about them. You know what I mean?
Are you referring to the auto fire pussy absorption?
Explain the auto fire pussy absorption for the audience, please.
That is it's called a hoe phase.
Yeah.
Literally, they open up the radar dish.
Yeah.
And then they literally absorb the endless streams of pea nice.
Right.
And, you know, they get their, you know, a couple gallons of throat yogurt pumped in there, and I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they're like, let's get married.
And they
I'm not damaged at all.
They better be careful, because they might wind up getting the pickled end of one snot stick and then wind up infected with herpetogonosyphilis.
Right.
Dude, right now in Houston.
Probably have that now, by the way.
Right now.
Learned my lesson at all. I've not learned my lesson.
Right now in Houston, there is a pandemic, like an actual pandemic of syphilis. Like it's 160% higher over the last 3 years.
Same in
And-
Chicago.
The CDC is begging women to either
stop being hoes.
to stop. Like the article, it's a hilarious article because it's like at the bottom you read like CDC recommends women to practice safer sex and maybe reduce the amount of sexual partners. Basically, stop fucking so much.
And
It's funny.
Syphilis is like the hard liquor of VD.
Oh my god!
It's the 40. It's the 40
It's
ounce.
like the Jack Daniels.
Pretty much. And then, if you get the Hipple Hiv, that is 100% jungle juice with the 200 proof alcohol.
Jungle juice.
That'll kill you.
Yeah.
And the thing is that a couple years ago, CDC was everyone's god. If the CDC said jump, everyone would be like, okay, jump. If the CDC
high?
says quit your job and stay home and don't work because you might get the bug, everyone would be like, yeah, I'm going to destroy my life just so I don't get sick. But now the CDC is saying, hey, ladies, stop fucking so much, or maybe just chill out for a couple months so we can control this pandemic.
Do
They're like,
something.
what are you talking about? I don't understand.
What? I can't stop.
We already went
Then
through
one
the
guy-
phase.
One guy gets out there, has the thing. They're like, "Oh my god, clutching the pearls. He's having sex with women." Oh, it's like, you are.
I mean, 2 years ago, it was monkeypox of the ass. What's next?
Did you remember?
Oh, yeah.
They stopped worrying about that when they found out it was mostly men who got it, and it was infecting kindergarten and shit like that. Where it's like, oh, let's not talk about that anymore. Because, well, we don't want to offend a particular
They're just like,
community.
let's go. This is not.
Yeah, like we don't want to
They're like,
offend
"That's
a community. It's like, oops.
That's too gross. We're not gonna go.
No, they didn't want to offend the LGBTQ community. That's why they didn't. But
Yeah. Oh, holy
Hey.
shit, dude! What up?
Thor.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good,
eh,
man.
Thor.
Sorry
Living
I
the
didn't see
dream,
you there.
right?
Hope you weren't waiting long.
No, I wasn't waiting long. I was a little late. Had some things to do to get here.
I don't
So
feel
we're
so
good.
bad now because Thor came in later than me. Usually, I'm the last fucking person to show
Yeah,
up.
but
and
Thor
I'll
wasn't.
look
Thor, were you ever in
hungover
the
or something
military?
wrong with me. Yeah.
Thor, were
No,
you ever in
was
the
I
military?
in the military? No, my father was.
I just wanted to. Oh, see, he's a civilian. He's got an excuse, Paul. I'm just saying, all the military guys were all late.
The funny
This
thing
like
is,
the
I'm
fucking
usually 5
Brazilian
minutes
military
early.
or something.
I'm the guy that's usually 5 minutes early.
Thor, you got any opinions on this? Because we're gonna wind it. We'll wind it down. Get everybody's opinion.
Champion's got to go for a walk, or his fucking heart will stop and his legs will fall off or something.
Man, he
Yeah,
needs
You
to
don't
take
keep
a nap.
moving, bro. You're gonna end up dying at your age. I'll be there in like 2 years.
Is this Alex Huberman thing
Yeah,
or Andrew Huberman?
yeah.
I
Andrew
did actually
Huberman.
read the article, quite a hit piece. There's an angry woman, and I suspect money's involved. And
Really?
so, yeah. And as I was looking, Huberman, I believe, has a supplement line, and she was involved working with that. That's as far as I could get. You guys will have to figure out the rest. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you did way more journalism than anyone else did on that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we all got the skeletons. I mean, I maybe not. She's pretty angry to run to an angry liberal. Hit the
Every
what is it? The
dude.
New York Post, or what was it?
New Yorker,
Magazine?
and she's a professor. She's a bot. She isn't a human being. It's just your typical scripted, pissed off 40-year-old woman who just is mass produced now.
Well, maybe I could back that.
All right.
Maybe I could get back on that. If that's the case, he's a middle-aged guy of a particular race. What a great target.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
guess.
Well, here's the thing that I usually bring up when I talk to dudes about the older women. I literally say, so you like this older woman? So do you eat gas station sushi? Because, it's been finger fucked. It's in that questionable fucking cooler that may or may not have been kept cool. You must
Full
wanna
disclosure,
talk
I
to
do
her.
eat gas station sushi sometimes.
Yeah.
It's got an iron stomach.
Man's got to take a
Different
risk
place,
now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wind up with a burning ring of fire at a minimum.
All right. Well, we'll go through our final observations and where people can find you. We can pass on what the observations are to the young men out there. Jack, go ahead. What are your
Okay,
observations?
so my observations are that this is just one of those spasms journalists do to stay relevant. and they try to stay relevant with things that tug on the emotional heartstrings of women, because how dare a successful man put in the same strategies that we do of dating multiple women and standing them up? That's our job to do, the men. And don't take it too seriously. Other than that, always keep everything. You never know when you might get popular, or you never know what might hit you. So yeah, just keep everything, but don't worry too much either. If you're not like a
If I ever
social
get popular,
retard,
I'm fucked.
yeah, like if
Wait,
you're not a
so
social
I have a
retard,
question.
I'll
or
never get
whatever,
popular, which is
So I
fine.
have a question for the panel for you guys, real quick. You know, we have a lot of experience on this panel. What practices can we do? Maybe we won't ever become as famous as Andrew Huberman. What practices can we do to protect ourselves, whether it be a reputation or just getting indicted in court? Like, what are some basic things we can do so guys that like get to a certain point where they finally escape the hell that is their 20s, and they finally hit their stride in life, that they can protect themselves from some girl uttering 2 or 3 words and having your life completely obliterated?
I'll tell a couple of things. One, get a trust if you're protected financially. Two,
Okay.
alias. Again, I go by Blake Kleiner. It's Klein. I would also, if you can, if you go on social media or whatever, don't show your face. Like, just, there's no real reason to. And then just, like, I think what you talked about, Nuke, is be unabashedly unashamed.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I'm dating multiple women. Like, lay it
Yeah.
down on the ground right up front. I'm dating multiple women. I'm highly successful. No, I'm not going to marry you. And if you give me any fucking shit, you're out of here. That forthright. And so that kind of lays the guys like, no. And then, as Jack said, have a digital copy of everything.
and well, read Social Justice Warriors Always Lie by Vox Day. That's just a guide how to survive this. And never show your power level. This is a big one too. It's like, guys, if you have money, don't fucking flaunt it. Just don't. Like, don't fucking flaunt it, because
Don't
they
advertise
won't,
that,
they
someone
won't
take a piece
come
of your
if there's
ass.
nothing to
Absolutely.
get. They won't come if there's nothing to get. That too. Like, Huberman was also targeted because he's famous. Where it's like, oh, this guy is relevant, so we're gonna go after him. Nothing will come of this. Same as what's his name? Russell Brand. How did that Russell Brand thing end? That happened and it went away.
Yeah, just wait it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. If
know.
you can be a nobody like Vince at Masculine Geeks, he's never going to have anyone come after him because he's a fucking nobody. Exactly. Bob, what do you recommend? You did your course, administrative violence. There must be some parallels there.
I did administrative violence working man's edition, where I go through systematically how you can protect yourself in the workforce from shit like this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Paul?
Yeah,
That's
check that
good.
out.
That's fucking great, actually. Well, I mean, I would say buy the administrative violence fucking course. I haven't seen it, but it's going to be pretty fucking good. I can tell you. I already know enough to know that it's going to be good. But I will say, not giving a fuck, and also don't be stupid. Like, those two, like, don't give a shit because they're going to come after you. Somebody's always going to come after you. I mean, it's always going to happen. If you are a male, if you're a man, and if you have a dick, and if you're doing anything to help men out, what that means is that you're counteracting the enslavement of men narrative that is going on in a gynocentric social order. And I mean, I hate to sound that extreme, but it really is. It's a narrative that is designed to keep men slaving, working for, the goals of women out there, pretty much in this gynocentric order. It's the feminist agenda, and it's designed to, if you say anything to counteract that, if you're trying to support male success, if you're trying to support male improvement, if you're trying to support guys getting out of bad relationships, out of divorces, finding their own mental point of origin, finding their purpose, finding their value, someone's going to come after you. There's going to be somebody that will come after you and try to take you down. You have to know that that's going to happen. And when it does, you have to kind of not give a shit. don't be apologetic and trying to backpedal. And, I had sex with girls and I'm really sorry I did that. You know what I mean? But I'm a happily guy in a relationship now, and I don't want to have sex with women anymore. Like, you can't turn into that. You have to be like.
So I know you had like a spat because you were dating a girl that's much younger, right, Paul?
Still, yeah.
Still.
That's kind of the rewind. So that's what I do.
So for guys that like younger women, how do you also, how much does that aggravate that already?
Oh, dude. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she went kind of public on her Facebook and had pictures of us, she got friends of my ex and everybody just went.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, in the inbox when he's like, I'm this terrible guy and
prefrontal cortex.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to, somehow manipulate her into this bad situation, which I'm not so sure what bad situation that would be. She has a pretty good life right now with me. So
you guys seem pretty happy. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's this terrible situation where she's happy. Like, that's where these chicks are like, but you're supposed to be unhappy like us, and they're all women who are in their mid-30s, to 40s, who are very overweight. Like the ones that came after them, they fit the exact description, they fit the meme of an overweight, post-wall woman, and that's who they were in her inbox. They were like harassing her. It was pretty fucked up, actually. And so it's like
they're not doing it for her to protect her,
No.
doing it for them. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, they eat their way into hang on. They eat their way into box wine and Catland.
Yeah.
And then they're too big to get out.
Right. It's like my 600-pound life, dude. Like someone's got to carve open.
I got a question. I'm being totally serious here, and everyone laughs. So I don't understand it.
Because
I'm not even trying to be
fucking
funny.
Truth in it though, and it's funny.
Yeah. Thor, what do you got? Some takeaways here for the young audience.
Yeah, sure. If you're in your 20s, maybe even your 30s, you haven't hit your stride yet, of course, I would recommend what Terry Pop has. Very good information over there with his course. But I would suggest being nobody. Be the gray man in your 20s. You haven't hit your stride yet. You can remain relatively invisible like Vince does and do pretty well. But to coincide with that, as you come up and you potentially have fame and you have money and assets, I would recommend that you hire or put on retainer an asset protection attorney. And
that's what I said. Yeah.
And if you do your research properly, those guys will even be connected with publicity folks, so that you'll be relatively prepared if you do hit your stride and you get famous. Now, on that team, if you get a good protection attorney, he'll include in that employment attorney. So you might need, but it's better to have that stuff ready to go and in your network than to have to come back and hire it. You're going to get a higher rate. When somebody complains, you have a wrongful termination because somebody complained. Now you got to go find one. It's just good if you have it on retainer. I mean, that's the basics that I'd draw out there.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go where people can find everyone. Jack, do you do anything?
Do I do anything?
Do you do anything?
Man.
You just
I
here.
don't know. I'm
That
European.
mop of hair. You need a haircut, man. Look at that.
No, it's just like I said, every now and then it just does a do thing.
My aunt has that same haircut, by the way.
Yeah, you're just reminded of me everywhere you go.
Homo suspicion point. Homo suspicion point assassin.
Man bun.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Hey, Kevin,
a top knot is not a man.
But okay, my channel is in the chat.
He's a samurai warrior.
You can go there. It's Red Evening yesterday with Rob from Rob Says, and tomorrow we're going to do Post Zero. Nuke's going to be there. Chat of Arabia, Archwinger probably is there. Rule Zero Dad, a couple of other great guys talking about Schrodinger's agency. Do women really have agency or do they not?
Okay, perfect. Nuke.
Wait, Cabby, we're not going to read the super chats, or
no? We are. We'll do the super chats after.
Oh, okay,
Some people might have to go. I don't want to hold you guys here
right.
if you don't want to do super chats because you guys actually got lives except Paul.
Well, yeah, final thoughts is I would, and maybe you guys can agree, or but maybe have a dog camera in your apartment. I have a dog.
Full-on cameras in my apartment.
Yeah,
I'm unapologetic about it.
Yeah, I have a dog.
If they fuck around, they're going to end up on my OnlyFans.
Oh,
I would have
I got
something
2 subscribers, you dudes.
Don't screenshot all conversations with girls that you just met. Always send the good or the after the next day text like, "Hey, I had a good time, thank you." And don't go after women that are married or have boyfriends. Like, don't do
How'd you
that.
figure that one out, Nuke?
No, I saw it from far away. I've
okay.
never done that crap. Yeah, it's not worth it. And overall, get legally educated as you get older, because you're going to have a position or clout or whatever you want later on in life that it could be compromised, right? So just be ready for get legally educated. Pay a lawyer 2 hours of his time to learn this shit, and just you can go in with some ammo and realize that you may lose. You may lose. That's life. What can you do, right? And you guys can find me on my channel, YouTube. I'll put the link tree in the chat and all that. But yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. Pop, where can people find you? And I do recommend your administrative violence course. I did take it, so I have audited it. It is good. But where can people find you, Pop?
Redonkulous.com. Me and Blake are the only comedians on the planet using comedy to stop suicide.
Cool. Paul, we can find you there at your website, and you got that.
That's it. I got a course that you can fuck your life up over. It drops April 22nd. Tells you how to get more women in your life. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but hey, man, I got it happening April 22nd.
Protocol.
Paul, I mean, tell people also what you do. I mean, because I don't know if a lot of my audience, because like you do kind of counseling and therapy on other stuff as well.
Yeah. And I more on the, and it's in the platform of coaching, you know what I mean? So it's basically mindset coaching and getting guys to figure out how to use their mind and access certain parts of their brain, and using the way that your brain kind of operates neurologically to make some changes and to pull yourself out of things like depression, heavy anxiety, stuff like that. Any difficulties lots of guys have, trauma, all kinds of stuff. Even if somebody's at one of my events or comes, we use something called neuro imaging and neurofeedback, which you hook your brain up to this thing and it sends feedback to your brain and actually starts to change like the brain waves and things like that. And, it can pull you out of a pretty dark place. And,
It's like
and
a
that's,
God helmet.
yeah. yeah. And so I can do that for guys. And it's, that's the more important work. I mean, so I get them laid on, on courses like the 22nd, and then they get a bunch of trauma from all that, and then I can fix them 6 months later. No, I'm just kidding.
So you're a drug dealer with
but
a
really
fair-
though,
with a
really
real
though, there's a lot of shit there. So.
Paul, I haven't seen you in a while, man. We should hang out again soon.
I know,
That would be
dude.
fun.
I know.
That would
I
be
know.
fun.
I've been all fucking busy.
Don't worry, man.
Sure.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't let Paul sell himself short. He's done incredible trauma work with severely injured clients and has had good success.
Thanks, brother. I
It's
appreciate it.
much wider than what he actually says is what he can do. Working with soldiers, other people, that trauma and physical trauma and mental trauma. So he's very good at that.
Thanks, bro.
You bet. So as far as I'm concerned, you guys can find me on becomedurable.com. I got a book out there. You can check it out. And of course, on RP Thor and on the Dragon Ship with Nuke.
And I would also, you never promoted Thor, but I think it's your best product is your course on how to become a lineman on Gumroad, right?
Yep, it's on Gumroad.
Yeah.
You can access it. You can access it right through the website on Become Durable.
Okay, so there's that, or if you just search Red Pill Thor, lineman, Gumroad, you'll find it. For all you boys out there, I want to make money. How do I get the girls? Well, go become a lineman and fuck college.
To fly in helicopters and work in the snow.
Yeah. All right, let's go through the super chats, gentlemen. If you have to take off, don't feel like you have to stick around, but we'll go bang these out here real quick because it's only for people like Hat and Clogs, which we don't like much anyway. Hat and Clogs, $2.
Translating this.
Hat and Clogs, ich kann nicht rennen. Ich bin ein voller Schokolade.
It's German.
German.
You need me to do that?
I can't remember.
He's our
Ich
linguist.
kann nicht
Our guy's our
rennen.
linguist.
Yeah.
What,
Ich kann nicht rennen. Ich bin voller Schokolade.
What does that mean?
I can't run. I'm full of chocolate.
Okay, good. Nonstop Dre.
That sounds like me. So I stopped running a few years ago. No,
Nonstop Dre for $2. Cappy likes his women like his dogs, limping and silent. There's another dark, horrible joke from Dre. Dre, $2. Cappy has really strong arms. Women's shelters. Fucking hell. Oh my God, Dre. Jesus. Dre, Cappy has really strong legs and a good kicker. PETA.
Oh,
Oh my, is this just going to be 27 super chats of Dre doing Cappy? $2 for Cappy's future. Hashtag Me Too lawsuits from his exes. WizDivision Productions, $5. Nuke nailed it. You're doomed if you do and damned if you don't with women. Your only power as a man is to walk away. Self-preservation first. I think if there's a young man out there who wants to get into asset protection, I think there's going to be a dramatic increase in call for that, as every young man or middle-aged man is going to need it. It's coming to that. It's too risky otherwise. Nonstop Dre, $2. What's Cappy's favorite martial arts style? Weeping dog. Chuck the Painter, €10. Let me move this down. Just as Saint said, no one truly believes in God during that pod you did in Vegas. I think no one truly gives a fuck about Huberman's behavior. It's just another red meat until the next scandal.
It's true.
Agreed. Did you know, Mad, 2 Canadian? I got receipts from over a decade just in case. Hand Clogs, $2. Freedom, liberty, and managed democracy. Are you guys playing that Helldiver game?
Hell yeah.
I gotta buy it when I get back home. Is it online? What?
Yeah, it's all platforms, I think. So.
All right, so there's not like there's not a campaign.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll get it anyway. Gnome saying $2. Great advice for young guys. Get a USB. Keep info. Absolutely. Hand Clogs. Oh my. Oh, for Pop. $20 for you, Pop, for Corn Pop. What's Corn Pop?
It's the cereal.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a bunch of memes we do on my show, making fun of the dictator in chief who runs the country.
Cool. Frank Rizzo, $10 generous. He has nothing to say, but thank you anyway. Free gender, $10. You guys are missing the point. Girls literally get high from being victims. Boy, damn right, free gender. It almost seems like that. Like the gossip and the drama, their behavior indicates that. They just have to, you watch the TV shows that they watch, it's like, what the fuck is this shit? It's like, yep, it's an emotional roller coaster. Sorry, until I start seeing more reasoned and rational behavior, I have to go with that. I'm sorry. I skipped over for being high. That's why when you tell them they can solve their problem, they just stop talking and stare at the ground. Nonstop Dre, $365. Technologies like Elon Musk's Neuralink will make it easier for women to accuse or cancel men for the future crimes or past perceived wrongdoings by any man. I don't know what Neuralink is. Alex Patino, our truck driving Latino agent in the field. You can't vet women 100%. Least to dispose.
God.
Cappy's lost son, Big Mike Jr., $2. Thanks for all you do, man. Big Daddy Mike and I miss you. I think it's Dre. Dre has like all these fake accounts. If he's got nothing else to do, but he does. $2 from Dre again. What Cappy's favorite music group is? Black Eyed Dogs. WizDivision Productions. $5. By the way, I see you bringing on Nuke to fulfill the DEI ESG quote. Right. He has nothing intelligent to say. He's not a fucking nuclear physicist. We just brought him on because he's partially black. Yeah, we got it. Yeah. Oh, by the way, me and Nuke are hanging out later on tonight. We're going to have cigars. So
cool.
It'll be cool. Chuck the... Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped the...
You got to read the whole thing, Cappy.
I got to read the whole thing. We get it, Cappy. You have a black friend. Jeez, rub it in my face. Why don't you?
Also a friend with high IQ.
Ooh.
He's really an affirmative action hire, but because his IQ is higher than everybody's.
No, I'm like an 88. I think I'm an 88 IQ, 89.
Oh, right around criminal. I'm a 76. I match with everybody else in Afghanistan.
Wait, you guys have IQs?
I'm an evil genius.
Chuck the Painter, €5. Being unapologetic is just holding frame, but with everybody. If you're fine with the consequences of your action, no one can get under your skin. Alex Matino, our truck driving Latino agent in the field again. Pop, tell them about the Deke stacking test. Pop, tell us about the Deke stacking test.
It's the dick stacking test. And it's
Oh.
basically when you meet a new woman, you try to ascertain how many penises she sat on before she met you. And in your mind, you just stack the penises and you put a platform at that level and push her off. If she so much as get a skinned knee or twisted ankle, too many cocks. It's entertainment only.
So you and Blake got a lot of time on your hands to kind of come
That
up
test
with.
does give you a lot of leeway. You can at least,
I mean,
at least
I mathematically proved it's possible for a woman to get 500 miles of dick ran through her in her lifetime.
Well,
oh yeah, 100%.
Matt F, 100 generous dollars.
Wow.
Glad I could catch you live. I wanted to say thanks for sharing your wisdom. Just got my commercial helicopter pilot's license and starting my career. 10 years of hard work got me here with a little Cappy and T-Pop on my shoulder. Thanks. Might send a video request soon. Well, thanks, Matt. Thank you.
That's
very
cool.
much.
Outstanding.
Very
Yeah,
good.
that'll pay for
Nice.
gas to get me back home. Nonstop trade, $2. But pop girls just like to get their daily protein.
Yeah, they like their throat yogurt. What can I say? 90% of women will show up at their husband's funeral with fresh DNA on their lips with a date.
CDC statistics.
Fountainhead Forum, $5. Author of Huberman article was a big fan of Ayn Rand. Some female Rand fans are the blackest black pill. Amber Heard was also a Rand fan.
Yeah.
Huh.
The plot thickens.
Yeah. Well,
That's interesting.
what's gonna-
I don't know. I never thought of that connection for any
Yeah, I
reason
didn't either.
whatsoever in my
yeah.
life.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
I read
what's
them
going to
all.
happen. Tomorrow, no one's going to remember her, and she'll go back to her fucking miserable life in Iowa. And then Huberman's going to make a shit ton more money
True.
because of
Yeah.
all this. My Truth, the King, $5. We really surprised that these gals are using covert/social influence Kevin Samuels sign language to attempt to control the behavior of Huberman, aka a high value man. What is sign? Slander, ignore.
No.
That's from
Sign language. It's Kevin Samuels. It's
Kevin Samuels. Yeah, I don't know the acronym though, but he's spot on. I remember watching a couple of his shows before his passing.
it was shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right.
Okay.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's the
Good
first
one.
time I've heard that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. Rest his soul.
We did a couple episodes on the Dragon Ship. It's interesting to go through the history of it, but it's true, boy. I tell you what, you'll see it once you know it.
Yeah. Nonstop trade, $2. When will you get the Great One on? His podcast is 10 out of 10. The problem with the Great One is he will slip and use pretty much every racial slur on my podcast. So it's just I disagree with him on that, and I don't want to be demonetized in 43 seconds.
Does he use the big N word or the
He
secondary
uses them
N-word?
all.
Who is this
all.
now? I'm sorry. My brain shut off for 2 seconds.
He runs a website called Cynical Libertarian Society,
I don't
and he's very ranty, but absolutely the most racist guy you're going to run into,
Because, you know,
which ends up becoming almost entertaining because Dre, of all people, who happens to be black, really enjoys the show. And so, and I think he has more minority listeners than he realizes, but I think people just like him going off on the rants and tirades and using every variant of slang he possibly can.
Because I use the red pill N word, which is for any woman in a relationship or marriage who's a nagger.
That's a good one.
Nonstop Dre, $2. Has Pop ever spoken to Coach Greg Adams? I think he did.
I've talked to him a couple times. I met him at a couple speaking events. Good guy. Good dude.
Christopher Baker, $2 super chat dedicated to Lou Gossett Jr. Rest in peace. Yeah, he did pass away yesterday.
Damn.
He was what, 86?
He was older, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good run, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to see 86. Fuck that.
Well, he was always thin and in shape, so I got to imagine, Kevin Samuels died way. Look, do you want him to die like Kevin Samuels in his 50s, or you want to go to 87? I like to go to 80s. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm on the 65 and out plan.
65 and out.
Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. Whoa, Mr. Steele, your girl has arrived. The slayer of Peace Leave, the creator of Baby Daddies, the terror of average men everywhere. It's T Rash. Wait, is T Rash in the house?
Yeah, he's further down.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, T Rash is in the house. My Truth, the King, $5 could also get roommate agreement like Aaron Celery in case she forgets her role and have legal means to remove her. He was ahead of his time. Hashtag life coach. Yeah, I also chose well. Is the other thing, but I know y'all. It's like yeah, until you didn't. Nonstop Dre, $2. Special guest T Rash is in the chat. Acknowledge him. Yeah, let me get through the chats here. The super chat. Here he is. Here he is. Special guest celebrity T Rash. Everyone subscribe to his channel. $5 up. Your wife's boyfriend is in the house. Nonstop Dre, $2. I'm too busy to make troll accounts. Laugh out loud. Okay, then it's somebody else. You do fit the profile, Dre. You do fit the profile. No, I'm saying $2. Pretty sure Samuels is why I'm here. Rest in peace, dude. I wonder, I know, what are you up to, Pop? 560, 570 live saved?
543.
543. I'm wondering how much Samuel saved. I mean, you didn't track it or nothing, but I guarantee you he saved many lives metaphorically and literally.
He probably did.
Yeah.
Doc Paradox, $5. Engineering question about the stacking test. Hard/soft, average length and girth, stacked like toothpicks or a lattice structuring allowed.
Well, it's to be honest, what you do is you just multiply by 6. It's average penis size. Get the number, multiply by 6, divide by 12, and that gets you to feet. And then you just put a platform at that in your head and push them off.
Well,
Now,
my average is 2. So
if there's enough there to make a rope ladder up into low orbit, it's an immediate walk away because
A rope ladder.
you're gonna get a penis bump.
And Dre for $2. I like the great one, honesty, and I'm pro free speech. Well, yeah, no, that's legit. He definitely exercises his free speech there as well. So, all right, that's it. Guys, thanks for showing up. Everybody, thank you very much for all the super chats. Check out all the guys' sites and channels if they have products and shows you'd like to tune into. Link below is all my stuff. You can find my books below, courses below. I have my Subscribe Star channel. If you want to become an elite member at $2 a month, it's very prestigious. You get access to the Road Trip podcast and some pinups. And then also is the Amazon affiliate link. If you're going to do any Amazon shop, you can do it through all there. Thanks for tuning in and toodles.